Forever champions right here. I'll give not subscribe.
My boys, D&D.
Hello, welcome to the Crucible podcast. Happy Crewsmas from thedisrespected.com, the Crucible and its companion, the Cannonballs podcast, and me, Michael Arace, proprietor of the Disrespected LLC. Actually, it's Disrespected Media LLC. You like the name?
It's a great name.
Yeah. I was having a conversation with like last summer with a lawyer, and we started spitballing. He said that. I go, we're there.
It's the show perfectly. We're talking about the jackets and the crew.
Exactly. That's exactly the point.
Wow.
Flyover country, man. So check out the disrespected.com and look for my pods, which are also posted to my new YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, rate, review, etc. I appreciate it.
Get on that.
Happy Crewsmas too from two legends here who are joining me in a back room at Jimmy V's here on Temperance Row in Westerville, Ohio. Michael Corleone shot Salazzo and Captain McCluskey back here. That was the Godfather. No, that was actually Louis in the Bronx. This is Jimmy V's in Westerville, a fine establishment and a named companion of Jimmy V's, but not owned by the same people, in Grandview, where you can find Tom Reed selling cigars on Sundays and watching soccer. So this is Frankie Hejduk on your left, and or actually right. I have it flipped here. Frankie Hejduk with the hat, and Duncan Oughton.
Cheers.
I love wasabi.
And here come the windy introductions. Frankie Hejduk, former California high school surfing champion, second team All-American soccer player at UCLA, played for Ziggy Schmidt there.
I didn't know that. Yeah, that's cool.
Played
What a guy.
second team.
I remember two. I was always second.
Did you put that on your wiki page?
I don't know.
He doesn't know what
Do I have
it is.
He is the only individual to have represented the United States in the 96 and 2000 Summer Olympics and the 98 and 2002 World Cups. 20 starts, over 25 caps for the men's senior team, USMNT. 3 seasons.
85 caps. 85 caps. There's a big difference between 25 and 85.
Actually, it's just one digit in the tens.
So not 25. Yeah, no.
He played it. You better call
That's no point we just where the show is.
Well, you know where that was from? That was from FP Ref.
Yeah.
He's got that wrong.
Yeah, he doesn't want me. A lot of those people, U.S. soccer people, didn't want me to have 85 caps, dude. They're like, shit, we gave that guy 85 caps.
How? 3 seasons for Bayer Leverkusen in the Bundesliga.
5.
I had 3, though.
I have 5.
5 seasons in the Bundesliga.
Whoever you're going for, yeah. This source is really, really bad, dude. Yeah.
8 seasons in Columbus.
Yep. That's true.
They got one right.
Great season, great number.
One of 4 members of the Crew's Circle of Honor, the others being Brian McBride, Ziggy Schmidt, and the incomparable Guillermo Barros Scalotto.
Incomparable, yes, for sure.
And our other guest is Duncan Oughton.
Why couldn't you just leave with me? I'm going to go off this guy that's done a million caps. Come on. Kill me.
Hey, he's going with the same thing. Disrespect. It's so perfect. Yeah.
Duncan Oughton had 173 caps for New Zealand and played in 6 World Cups.
I like that. Yeah. In my own mind.
First round pick of the Crew in 2010, coming out of Cal State.
2001.
Mistake.
2001. Frankie was in the inaugural draft to Tampa Bay, right?
96, yeah, 75th pick.
You and Duncan.
Yeah.
2001 coming out of Cal State, a Titan.
That's it. Tough to Titan.
Yeah. 10 seasons in Columbus as a defender and a midfielder. MLS Cup in 2008 with Captain Frankie, and then went into coaching. Columbus, assistant technical director, I believe. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
And then on to Toronto FC, where the New Zealanders screwed up that franchise. Also, TV gigs as an analyst and as a host of Soccer and Beer, a globe-trotting program about two of life's great passions and biggest headaches, as the saying goes. That was a great tagline.
Dan Gary, big crew fan. He was the guy running that. He was awesome. Yeah.
Now he goes hard on the business side of the operation as a player agent, among other things. You guys have got gigs all over the place. Thank you for joining us, and welcome to the Crucible. First, for younger fans, Frankie, can you describe the meaning of massive?
Massive is just this is what their crew fans are. That's what they started. They started this trend. Was taking over Columbus because soccer hadn't been here before. No one knew about it. And then the massive fans came in and took over, man. And we are massive. It's sort of like
we are.
You know, it's like it was something that came organically by the fans, and something that turned into a bigger thing than I think anyone expected.
Talk a little about 2008, Frankie, too. You know, I think we forget. Obviously, I get a lot of things wrong, and I could get this thing wrong as well. But I think we forget the tumult that preceded 2008 when everything came together under Ziggy Schmidt. He came in, I think he had a 17-game winless streak at some point, or 14 or something. He doubted his own abilities. He tore up the roster. What do you guys remember for those days in the late aughts, the mid to late aughts, leading up to the 2008 championship season?
Both of us were hurt at that point.
I would say you can talk more because I got hurt in 2006. I was when I tore my ACL, so I stayed away from the whole deal. I was just doing rehab the whole time.
I had ACI, so I was coming back from my knee injury, and I didn't play till the end of that, like the later part of that season, and then it was hard to sit and watch, like the guys just getting battered and.
That's why he's such a he was better than me. I didn't even go to training. I was like, I can't sit and watch people play. And he would go and he did his duty every day. I was like, dude, this is going to drive me nuts if I just sit on the sideline.
It's hard for guys like us that are driven to win and to not be able to help. You know, it was especially like Frankie, we talked about it a lot. It was just to see the other guys go through that and not be shoulder to shoulder with them, able to fight with them and stuff, sucks. I mean, that's the best way to put it. It was the opposite of massive. It was deflating personally. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I had moments where I'm freaking walking through Shield Park downtown, freaking crying, just like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to play again. My knee's fucked and all this. And then, you know, having someone like this guy next to you and being like, nah, dude, we're getting back, we can do this thing. Let's go to the bar.
I just went to the bar. I'm trying to be happy as I can, dude, because, that will mess with your mind for a while. We got to do it together, so it was cool. I think we helped each other out a lot in good ways.
Now, is that the surfer mentality that, Frankie, you would know better than anyone, that Wilfried used to talk about?
In terms of what?
You wipe out and you get back on the board and go back out, right?
Yep, totally. That's it.
You have to go balls out. I mean,
balls to the walls, dude. So that's it. So when you can't go balls to the walls always, like if you're in rehab, you know, that's a tough one. It's mentally tough. So what am I doing here?
But the roster turned over. I mean, Duncan, you were just talking about it off camera, and as were you, Frankie. But I mean, there was a time right before it all came together in 2008 when it looked like it would all fall apart.
I think it was at the start of 2007, maybe. We put it on the board. Or maybe it was start of 2008. Just a number of people that had been and gone come in on some form of contract. And we got up to I want to say close to 70 players at least. The turnover, and that was when the rosters was what, maybe 25?
Right.
So we've turned over nearly 3 rosters in 2 years. Like, I mean, Ziggy, what he was really, really good at was working the rules and putting together a locker room of guys that may not be quote-unquote best players, but would fuck
die for each other. I mean, he's smart in that regard. He got a bunch of misfits, dude, that just like no other team wanted. We all had chip on our shoulders, and everyone was kind of like, why am I getting tricked? And
he got a lot of players with chips on their shoulders, and I think that's a big deal in sports in general. Anyone with a chip on their shoulder, whether it be a contract year or whatever it is, you're gonna go fucking times 10. And I think we had a tough group of like 15, 20 guys with chips on their shoulders. No one was really super happy with what was going on until we all finally gel and molded. And like you said, that came together in the middle of 07, I think, is once we got Scalotto. Like, once that happened,
once we understood him, because at first it wasn't good. The guys, he would give the ball away 9 out of 10 times, but the 10th time was a chance, a goal, and we all realized we just have to work to win it back around him and get him the ball, because 1 out of 10 is going to be a goal. Yeah. So if we can get the ball 20 times, we're scoring 2 goals, that's pretty good odds. If we can get the ball 40 times, well, we've got a good win here. Once the guys bought into that and worked it out as a group, and I think respect to Frankie, forget the disrespect right now, respect to Frank's, that surfer mentality of like, come on, let's go, was awesome, because sometimes I was the other way. I was like, pull your finger out of the ass, you got to be better. Like he was doing the training. I'd want to go when we did the drills 1v1s. I'd want to go against him. Yeah, because every time I win, every time I got it was easy. Like he was good 1v1, but when we were doing like a 5v5, but you could only tackle one dude, it was great against him. But he was the guy that got unlocked teams, and Frankie helped really bring the Guillermo's and Gino would do whatever Guillermo said, so bringing everyone together like that, and then I think between the two of us, just leading them down the path of it's winning or nothing.
Yeah, I think remember, I would yell at him a lot. And think back on it now, I'm like, how am I yelling at Guillermo? For one, he's a nice player, I don't know. For two, he played great. He played on the best teams in the world, everything, but I think our mentality was like, dude, we're workers. We're workers. So, and once we figured out, like, dude, he doesn't have to work as hard as us, because he's just so his touch and his mind works so much differently than ours. Then that's when we figured it out. Because he didn't get me hard. I'm like, come on, get it on.
And he got better too. He got better at running fight because everyone else was doing it. And he was like, he was unreal.
He was unreal. Once he adjusted and really like, whoa, these guys are kind of freaking serious. This isn't like a league that is a tough around league. And maybe if we thought about that, coming from a big team, I don't think this is a like a walk in the park or vacation. And that mentality, that's what he thought. And I was trying to switch that. And his mentality was not like that. He was just a hero, dude. He had that. No matter where he was going to play that way. And he could unlock, like Duncan said, anything that we couldn't. And once we all figured out that, but we also got into him like, hey, dude, you got to give a little this on that. And he switched, dude. I mean, after 6-7 games, I think he switched, and then we made that run in 07 where we had to watch DC, and we were all at, remember we were all at Iowa, or was it? And where I was right by Front Street. What's it called? You know, Flyover.
Yeah,
we were at Flyover. And this was 07, and if DC tied or lost or something, we were going to playoffs. So we still had a minimal chance. It was only halfway through the season because Guillermo came.
Yeah.
And we were all watching them. Guillermo was there. And they ended up winning, I think, DC, so we were out. But that got us a taste of like, bro, this can happen. Like, this guy's can change a whole team. And especially with guys around him that he has that are just freaking fighting.
He bought into because he was at every event. We had team gatherings. I had a big party at my house.
Well, he had gatherings too, didn't he? That was my name.
But he was at this one with kids and that, and everyone except one guy on the team. That's not normal for a team. We were a proper team.
Yeah.
I mean,
everyone having fun, drinking there, doing whatever we can, just be misfits.
That night, that was our team. Yeah, it was.
What I remember from 08, the two things that will never trickle out of my brain, or they will pretty soon. I'm getting pretty old. But it is the Nordic, for one. you get obviously predates Guillermo, but that's when it got traction and then it blew up, '07 and '08. And the other thing is my Scalotto etching in my mind is his third assist in the MLS Cup final in Carson. And it was that, I don't know, he drew like two guys to him and then he parachuted the ball into the air and you're going like, where's that going? And all of a sudden Frankie appears out of the screen right.
Some rock back made a 70-yard run to just get on the end of it.
I made that run for my entire life and never got it, dude. And it was the one time in the biggest game that happened. And I even remember seeing them going, why the hell are you up there? Like we were winning 2-1 with like 10 minutes to go.
They would have.
We would have got a counterattack and the whole right side was open, but I've been making that run my whole life and never got it and yelled at all the center midfielders that didn't give it to me. And the one guy that knew how to do it, dude, he did it and he did it in a way that's like, who even sees that freaking ball?
I don't know.
I can't flick it that way like he did. Ever.
I don't know how he saw you.
I've been trying to like mimic it with my kids sometimes. Like, how did he do this? I guess his foot and his touch is so much different than mine.
Like most people.
I can't mimic it. I've tried to
touch is different than yours, right?
Yeah, weird. Yeah, it's not. No, my favorite move was a touch and tackle. You know that.
There's I'm as a grizzled newspaper person. There were 3 times over 43 years when I actually stood up, like out of my seat at an event. The first was when Michael Jordan in old Chicago Stadium, it was Bulls Lakers 91, I believe. When Jordan came down to dunk and he spotted either Sam Perkins or James Worthy coming from his right, and he switched hands and laid it up. They made a Gatorade commercial out of that.
Unreal.
That was the second time. The first time was a last second jumper by Tate George, UConn over Clemson in an East Regional semifinal. That was last second shot, full court pass into the corner, turnaround jumper, buzzer. But that was the third time. Was Scalotto?
Yeah,
Scalotto.
Yeah,
it was about to finish. The Bulls okay to finish.
I thought I was going to get pounded by the keeper, dude. You see me, I tried to put my shoulder over my jaw because I thought he was going to come and hit my jaw. So you see me kind of go like that because I'm like, okay, at least he'll just hit my shoulder.
He was having a bit of a stink. Remember?
Yeah,
when he was standing outside the post.
Yeah, he didn't have a great game. That was a weird
Shapiro.
Yeah. That was like when we look at that first goal, it's like, whoa, when you go, what the hell
is coming in on this angle, and he was standing on his post. He had the whole goal to shoot. I was like, what's he doing?
Yeah. It went in.
No, what's the goalie doing?
Oh, yeah.
He was like protecting like the post and the other. And the
what he's saying is even that way he didn't know what to do. But I think the ball from Guillermo just made him not know what to do.
Caught him in two.
Yeah, like, what should I go? Do I stay? And luckily we win.
It was next year you win the Supporter Shield, and then well, we won't get into how Ziggy Robert was Ziggy leaves for Seattle the next season, and you win with Robert as coach and win the Supporter Shield, and the playoffs were a different thing, and then everything begins to, it's all dissembled,
which was weird because like for me, I really like. That part of it shouldn't happen because we still had a team. Okay, we were all getting older, but we lost in penalties in the playoffs. Like wasn't 2 years in a row. Like, I don't know if it was 1 year, Robert, or what. But both years, I think, like we were right there. It wasn't like the team was not the same. It just we didn't have the same results. We didn't have the last-minute goal by Steven Lenhart we played against Kansas City that propelled us to the MLS Cup. No, we were down 1-0 in Kansas City. We lose that game, we're out.
Yeah.
Well, Lenhart scores in the last minute, and we tied 1-1, and that allowed us to advance. We were about ready to go.
I think part of that too is Ziggy had full control, or recruitment and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So recruitment is very important, and that team should have just been little pieces coming in. Not trying to change a big chunk of it or what, just refresh, bring a young, good player in that's going to build into the team, learn the culture, and you keep the amazing culture that the team had, instead of trying to rip big pieces out. Like a Frankie, get him out.
Guillermo, Gino, they got them all.
I understand that it's happening, but there's also, when you've got something there, a foundation that's been built, which I thought Ziggy was really good at. I think that was his secret power in MLS.
So added retool, a little retooling.
A little, like piece by piece. You don't have to go big. And that's why Ziggy had full control and Robert didn't. He wasn't necessarily getting pieces. From talking to Robert when I went on staff, we would want something, and it wasn't necessarily in line with the club. And I think that's so important for that relationship between coach and recruitment. And I think even now, maybe we're seeing some of that crew. What's the alignment? It's going to be interesting to see how everything unfolds.
Yeah, that was because Ziggy had power, like you said, over great players. So Greg, when he came in, Berhalter, same thing. Bruce Arena, same thing. They don't want to have a guy that's making decisions for them, and that's what happened when kind of Robert came in. He unfortunately had, he didn't have the GM power, so he had to listen to what everyone else wanted, and
he was coaching what he had, which was good. I mean, sort of not. He coached, he get the guys going, but as things started to change, maybe it wasn't aligned with what he was trying to do on the pitch. And I'm not saying that was the reason, yes or no, but it brings up a question for me. What's going on at the moment, too?
All I know is I feel like the best coaches, especially in soccer, I don't know, when they're the coach and the GM, that's when you have success. Yeah. When you have some other GM or some other guy that's making a decision for the coach, then it becomes a weird.
I would only push back by saying it's a different league now. It's a much different league now. I mean, the front offices are all,
analytical.
Well, there's that part of it.
Every one of them.
What I want to say before we move on is I always feel bad that Robert Warzia, who's one of the most important people in the history of the franchise, he really is, as a player, as a coach, and as someone who was original crew, et cetera, so gave so much to the club, that some fans just remember him for sitting Guillermo on the road in the first leg of the Real Salt Lake series.
I'll be honest, that was a big mistake.
Yeah.
In my opinion, but I don't know why he did that. Still to this day, I really don't.
Well,
but that's my opinion, and
I don't think that's why. I don't think that's why you got to let go.
No. I'm saying that's
that vibe at that time.
That's how he's remembered it at the end. It's by some. It's too bad that it was that. I mean, I ripped him in the newspaper saying. I think I said.
Well, I think everyone will rip him. There's no way you don't start to. That was amazing. So I don't know what point was. I guess away from home. You have a different opinion, Duncan.
No. Like, the thing is, like, what people don't see, whether people orders or sometimes it's not out. There's a tweak, an injury, or something. You're trying to get it right, or you're trying to save it for the last 20 minutes because you can make a big impact, or things like that that no one really knows between coach and player, or players that shit going on off the field as well that no one knows about. They just get ripped having a bad game. No one knows that freaking something happened in their life that week that you just meant to be a bloody robot as a player, and some people can do that, some can't. It's just a different.
I found it easier as a sports writer, as I've gotten deep into my career, to say we can't know what's going on, we can't know everything, and two, everything looks easy from where I sit in the press box. So again, that's
I always say that with
reporters. I'm like, you guys aren't there every day. You're not there.
You're not
2 hours. You're not there 2 hours every training. You might come to the last 20 minutes and see everyone's happy, but you don't see the first 30 minutes where everyone's freaking maybe fighting each other, maybe a couple of balls on the field, whatever. So yeah, that's you kind of there's a different aspect of what reporters see and what they can report because it's not there all the time. Yeah, it's not no one's fault.
Also,
they're not allowed to be there like half the time.
So exactly, that's what I was going to
That's the
say.
problem.
I also miss the access that we had to you guys because you established relationships and trust. This is one of my rants that you can find on other podcasts, but like it's completely different now. They try to control the narrative, and one of the ways they do it is not only with their own social media teams, covering the team to give you a very narrow view of what's going on, but also the restricted access that normal reporters have nowadays. But again, that's for another day.
Yeah, no, dude, I know. On the outside, looking at this team's like, oh, we're such good, dude. When we're such good friends on the field. When we got training every day, when Ziggy's there, dude, we were all battling, like we all wanted to win. So there was little fights, there was little problems. It wasn't like everything was always happy-go-lucky.
Best mate, but I'm pretty sure I've got a scar on my shin from this guy.
I got a couple in my head.
The same when he gave Cristiano in Portugal that time when he was a young guy. Oh, he smashed him. You know, and that was Frankie. I expected him to train like that because that's what he did on Saturday. There weren't many players that didn't have to train the way they played to perform at their best. We were competitive. Everything was a battle at training. 5v2 was a battle.
Dude, it was
Soccer golf after training was a battle. We wanted to win. That's how it was.
But then after it was almost like a hockey fight. You fight, you're like a good fight. Fucking that bloody nose.
Michael was one of my best friends.
Yeah.
And he did a step over at training. We're playing like 77s. And he beat me with a step over. And I was pissed. He was like going around me, so I rugby tackled him. I just turned and tackled him. And then he tried to fight me on the field. We were like squaring up. And then afterwards, everyone was laughing about it because it's like, and he was like, you just couldn't let me get past you with a step over. I was like, Mike, there's no chance I'm letting you get past me with a step over. I wouldn't be able to live with myself forever. I'd have to retire from the game now. And we had to laugh about it when we got like lunch together. You know, it was like we squared up on the field and then got lunch. But that was just how it was.
Well, as Frankie said, that translates to the field as well. And there have been times over these years, including last year, when things aren't going great, and you look down on the field and you say, "Geez, somebody tackle somebody, do something, leave a mark, let them know you were there at least."
Sometimes it's a spark for everyone, right? It wakes everyone else up. It feels good for you because you get the tackle, but everyone else is like, "Oh crap,
this guy's going all in, dude."
He's an assistant player from the U.S. assistant player.
He's going knee high.
Moving towards the modern era here. As you guys watch the Wilfried Nancy, I mean, he was. I mean, you guys could argue, but I would say he was the best coach in Crew history. That was the greatest three-year span, if you want to add up all the numbers and the trophies went in the case. How did you look at his departure from afar? Did you find it odd, or is that just the way the modern game goes? And I don't know, a lot went into it. Your thoughts on Wilfried Nancy and his exit, and then we'll get into Henrik Rydström and his entrance.
Said with Celtic, maybe it was the right club at the wrong time.
Okay.
It's a club you can't turn down if they come for you. It's Celtic. It's one of the most recognized clubs in the world. You know, it's up there with the big boys. Yeah, the league isn't necessarily the best, but Celtic and Rangers have expectations. Way more pressure than anyone know here. I mean, we talked to Frankie about playing in Germany. The pressures are so much different for these players and coach going into that environment. After Martin O'Neill's been there, and I think won 8 out of 9, it's like it's different. So I think for me here, he was unreal. I saw him out of training. I saw the way he was with players and the way he got them to buy in. It probably took a little bit of time, and he also had some players come in that wanted to fit his style. When he went to Celtic, he had to coach a group of guys. I think, and I don't want to speak on him there because I wasn't there. I would just say it's hard to change a group like that. Instantly, you just take your time and you evaluate and you do it. So as a coach, Unreal, I think that part of he'll be way better in his next job because he will maybe learn the manager, the managerial side of it more, which is a big part in different places. But here, Unreal for the club.
Literally unreal. He was a player's coach. You can see he could affect every player differently. He knew that this guy was this way, and I could treat him this way. Like I could see that, you know, even putting hands around people, like talking to him like that. I mean, he definitely was like an amazing coach. I think, for me, it was like Duncan said, you can't pass up that opportunity. But this was such a good opportunity here to have still, and you could last here forever. Really good job. But you have to take that job just because that's what he wants to do. He's trying to play at what's so-called the highest level, but you can't go there mid-season and try to do a system like he does and try to change the team.
That's tough.
Dude, his system is you need a full preseason with him. So to go there halfway through the irony, I was like, dang, that's going to be a weird one. And try to change the team and the system that you like to play. It's a really tough system because it's all forward. And you leave one-on-one in the back. And guys got to be good one-on-one in the back. They got to know what they're doing. So I thought it was a bit odd that he went mid-season, right?
Yeah, that's unfortunately the way it was. You kind of have to.
Yeah,
I mean, that changed. I had people ask me, did he see changes in the club, riding on the wall a little bit? Was it he wanted out because of everything? And my response was like, I won't know, not in the club. I don't think so. I think it was again, it's Celtic. They're knocking on your door. You don't say no, or you go down the road as far as you can at least till someone else says no for you. You have to take that opportunity when you're at that level.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. There's no way you can not take that opportunity. Just for me as a selfish Crew fan, I'm like, man, I wish he could stay. I saw some world championships under him, and now it's not a rebuild. Like a new coach, new players, now. So we're going through that again. Which could be good, could be bad. I don't know.
The coach Hedjduk coming in offered nothing but amazing things. Like I spoke to people out of Sweden and area that I know over there, and I said he is amazing. He when it went downhill at Malmo after he won so much, was they got lazy in terms of recruitment. And that's just like I'm going to do anything instead of maybe one. They put a few out, and instead of just slowly keeping the culture and building under him, letting him grow. It was more, hey, they're that good, we need to do anything. Well, I think doing nothing is never a good thing. You always have lists. You always have ideas of, hey, we could strengthen here, bring one in, and like slowly adapt. And then I think he's going to be really good. It takes time for anyone coming into MLS. There's not many guys that come in and day one are like, lights out good. It's a different league. The travel is different.
Even the players, man. That's like, dude, he's got to adapt to that. All of a sudden, you don't have Natty in the middle. Like, what are you doing? But Natty was one of a kind. So you're not going to be able to replace them. Cucho was one of a kind. Yeah. So there's two positions on the field for me that I'm already like, coach. I don't know, Boo, cool. I hope he scored goals, 2 goals, 2 games. But it's hard to replace Cucho. It's hard to replace Zelarayan. It's hard to replace Natty. And now we're kind of at that stage where we just did what we're going to have to. So that's for me is the most difficult phase for the Crew because you had 3 guys. So even as a center backs, straight up the middle, a spine team that kind of are all gone a little bit.
Yeah, I would throw Aiden Morris into that.
That's a big
loss. I can't believe I didn't say that.
I mean, last year he stood up there and you watch, and one of the impressions I had was, all right, Cucho's gone. Who's dragging this team into the fight? Where is that tackle? And like Aiden Morris was someone who on an off day, he was going to drag the team into the fight, and he also was a perfect complement for Darlington Nagy as well.
And here's my thing too. Like, how often are we just going to keep on letting players go? Like, hey, I'll give you what you want. The NFL doesn't give the players what they want. Well, franchise tag, you want to go? You're staying here. We're letting these guys go. I get it. We're doing this for their career. But you know, it's kind of hurting the club a little bit. Like, I would have kept Cucho. I would have said, okay, we're going to sell him for $5 million? No. Let's keep him for $5 million.
Yeah.
Are we going to... Sorry, same thing. We're just going to let him go. Okay, cool. Like,
but I think like an Aiden, guys like that.
No, they want to go. I get it.
It's hard to hold everyone back.
You know what? It's hard for me. It's hard to hold everyone back if they're not under contract. When I was a free agent in MLS, that was my third year. I was done. MLS didn't try. I was gone. If I would have had another year on my contract, I would have stayed. So that. They're not free agents, and you're letting them go a bit. To me, I'm not trying to hammer anyone. I'm just like, dang, dude, like for real? Like we basically let three of the top players on the crew go.
Yeah, but I think...
And not Nagy, he retired, so he couldn't do nothing. But I mean, dude,
but Zellweger had, I think, was a plan. Wilfred had a plan. He didn't fit his style.
Yeah, that's true. No, you could be totally right.
That's when they bought Diego. They used that to flip on Diego. Obviously, fans were going mental because they love Lucas. But all of a sudden, Wilfred's high press, speed, like work, level made a lot of sense. And that's where I think these guys, I think, holding play back for life-changing situations is tough. Clubs shouldn't want to push forward to that, but you need to be ready for those situations. You need those listen players. You need new guys to come in. You need to have those ideas in your head that, hey, this guy could leave, and this guy could leave. And Aiden was a guy, everyone should have known, hey, there's probably going to be people knocking on the door for this kid, and if he wants to...
All of them, Cucho too.
Yeah, sure. Cucho is no secret.
Like all of them.
Preston's probably going to be the next.
He did turned on us with Preston, and turned on us with Diego, I know for a fact. Big ones that were massive life-changing money for him.
Yeah.
And look, I get it, but then you can't keep doing that too, because then you get unrest in the locker room. The hard part is for a guy with big money like Cucho. He's a DP. If one of your DPs says, fuck backwards, I'm not playing, it becomes very difficult because you're losing that, and he's sitting there causing mayhem in the locker room. I'm not saying Cucho did that or didn't do that, but that you see that sometimes. And unfortunately, that's a modern game.
I like to see how you know what we're doing. Okay, well, Spain's going to pay you $5 million. We'll give you 10. And see what the player has in.
And some teams do that.
Yeah, no, but I kind of want us to do that. You know?
Look at Bolanga. Danny Bolanga.
Dude, I would have done that with those guys. I would have been like, Cucho, how much are they giving you? And they did this to me at Leverkusen. So there was a team in Frankfurt that wanted me. And they came up with a contract, and the contract was on the table. And I went to Leverkusen and the GM and I said, hey, Mr. Columnist, this is the offer. And you know what he did? He turned around and kind of smiled, and I'm going to double it. Take every number on this thing and double it. You know what I did? I stayed at Leverkusen. And I wasn't even playing. I wasn't even playing at that time. So I was playing in the Champions League game. In the Bundesliga, I was playing. I played maybe 5 games a year. But they went... They laughed at it. No, we want you here still. Here, you're staying here, buddy.
I don't blame them, dude.
It's like, no, but so you see where I'm thinking.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that was a player. And I was not even an impactful player with Leverkusen. I was just an impactful locker room guy. So they saw that, and they went, dude, we're not going to get in this locker room.
We don't want to play games.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I got to talk about beer too, dude. Yeah. You know, so that's kind of my point. Like, and it's not like I don't think it's. I don't know. I feel like soccer has money now.
Yeah.
You know, I think any one of these others can say
it's not the Hunt family anymore.
No,
not here. They're in Dallas.
You know, you've seen some of the contracts. Like a lot of these sports are making, even hockey. Like it's a joke compared to soccer.
Or let me throw this out there.
In terms of the opposite, like, they're
No,
making
I'm
so
gonna
much.
shift
in soccer, like,
I'm going to shift gears a little bit and say, okay, we talked about Wilfried and how he didn't have a run up in Glasgow. He didn't have time to install a system in Glasgow. And that's the wrong place not to have time. We can look at Wilfried when he got here, and he took the first half of the season up to the summer transfer window to take stock of what he had here, and then they made a bunch of moves, and then they won MLS Cup. One of the moves being obviously Lucas Aural out, Diego Rossi in. Do you think we're seeing a similar cycle with Henrik Rydström, who plays progressive soccer, as did his predecessor, but a different sort of system? Do you think that he's taking stock and figuring out which players fit and don't, and that there's this 15-game run up till we're 2 games in now to the World Cup, and that he'll have a good idea what he has on hand by then and how he wants to alter his roster?
I think you're probably right. I would say that's the best way to do things.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with a new front office person coming in, boss or whatever. You probably want to take stock of what you got before you start throwing your guns out, firing everyone, and see who brings what, how they are with you. I always believe that's the best way to do things, and I think because a player that maybe not the best under Wilfried might be really good under Henrik. So he needs to figure that out for himself. He needs to see it, he needs to feel it, he needs to smell it, and see who gels well in what he's doing. Because although I think the systems are similar, he's a little bit maybe in the final thrust, a little bit less possession, a little bit final thrust.
Yes.
So it's going to be different for the attacking core. And I think it needs to strengthen defensively and getting caught. But I think that's been for 3 or 4 years.
Let's talk about that.
From this before.
Two former defenders. You played multiple.
Played all over.
Yeah.
Where were you getting on the pitch, right?
But let's talk about that. It's clear they have a problem, and Rydström talks about it quite eloquently and with humor.
You won't get that much eloquent. Just so you know.
Well, I think he's proven that.
That's no part of our game. Yeah, that's no part of our game.
But
I don't even know what that word means. What is that? Is that a French?
But he has talked about the problem with his transition defense, the counters that come at him, that there's space in the middle that leads to quick 3-pass combinations, say, that lead to a severely distressed back line that leads to prime scoring chances. Is that a fair description? And if so, is this what you're seeing?
Yeah, I think it's sort of against the city, right?
Dude, if you're a soccer player, bro, and you don't see that every goal that's scored on the Crews is a counterattack, come on.
It's crosses into the defense is the one I see is the 2 biggest issues. And look, I
how do you fix them?
Personally, I would say up the spine of the team is always the most important. Yeah, the wingers and all that are hugely important, but this day and age, that centre back just a rock that will organise, has pace, is a beast. If you can find one of those, whether it be left or right, shouldn't matter whether they're left or right, put someone that can make sure everything's solid around you.
The next Chad Marshall.
I'm
talking about one of the greatest center backs in league history, maybe the.
I was saying he was great in the air. He was way quicker than people gave him credit.
Unbelievable at reading the game. Unbelievable shooting the game.
Could reach, get around people, and the one thing I would say Chad got better on later in his career was actually organising in front of him, so he had to do less work.
Right.
And that's where
he wasn't
at houses and stuff. He wasn't the best.
He wasn't the best talker,
but he got better in his career. And it made him better in Prolong's career, I think.
So, Frankie, how do you fix the counter-attacking problem?
You do the opposite of them. Let them have the ball once in a while. And you counterattack it. Don't play at the back every freaking single goal kick. Like God, man, play it forward every once in a while. Like it's okay to play the ball forward and then pressure them in their own half. I don't think we do that enough. We're so prideful on the way that we want to play, I think. And for me, it's the teams have figured it out. And they know, like it becomes a little bit predictable for me. It's like the definition of soccer is to be unpredictable. So it's okay to kick the ball and we'll kick along, get up, in and out. They go, we can't figure that out. That's a hard thing for me to take. We're not Barcelona. We do not have the players that Barcelona has. And everyone wants to play like Barcelona. Play like that. But these guys are the best freaking players in the world. You saw the goal the other day that when the goalkeeper just gave it right to Abu or whoever. You're trying to play out the back. You're not good enough. You can't see that at certain moments. Maybe you can play at the back every few times or whatever. But not when the team's just going, okay, we're standing there right in front of you. Let's see what's going to happen. I'm like, man, how many more times can these coaches do it? It makes me kind of pissed. I'm like, dude, whatever happened in the old school for like, get the ball forward, let's press them there, or hey, let's let them have the ball for a little bit, and we counterattack.
Yeah.
What's the matter with that? And so I think that's our game is it's become so prideful. I think under Nancy, because he has his way to play.
Yeah.
But after a few years, teams figure it out.
Yeah.
It's just like, 3-5-2 is the best. And then all of a sudden, 4 years, 5 years later, you go 4-3-3 again. Oh, 4-4-3 is the best. And it's like, right now, everyone knows what everyone else is trying to do. And so let's not play like freaking Barcelona.
That's how Bayern Munich figured out beating Barcelona. They said, fuck position.
Yeah.
We'll just be the fittest. We'll be able to counter the crap out of them.
USA, Mexico.
They're going to have the ball. And then we'll get at them. And I think Minnesota's a team that is a little bit like that. Hey, we'll be solid as hell, and we're going to have quick guys and we can get at teams, you know. And I think once Henrik gets his style fully in place, that final thrust, it'll be a little less pissing around, because usually when you have position, you're knocking around. Guys creep up. When you lose it, boom, you're exposed a little bit. Whereas if it's a little bit quicker out there, then maybe your center mid has drifted 10, 15 more yards up. And for me, it's also having just a couple of rocks back there that's their job. They are center-backs, they win everything, they lump everything, they organize, and they pull. Hey, Frankie, you go. Hey, you stay. You know, hey, you go, you stay. We need you to hero 6. Sit back in here. Make us have a 3. Right. You know, and I give him time. Give him some time for his system to kick in. I think it'll be a little bit less possession-based, in all honesty.
Yeah. I'm not saying he does that, because I don't know how he plays. I never watched his games, any game before here.
What he's talked about is that he will be more direct, but mostly in the final third. That's where he sees the risk reward of trying stuff and more one-on-one stuff and more runs, etc. And otherwise, he likes to have the ball. I don't think he's married to that, but I think this is a wait and see kind of thing.
If you can have both, the ball and the thrust, and get counter, that's the ideal world. But again, Frankie's point. That's Barcelona as well. You know,
the world, pass the hard ball at their knees and they'll bring it down. They're already looking where the next ball is instead of looking at their foot to bring the ball down.
You see the ball Felipe Coutinho here. Yeah, you had to do it from Bayern perspective and a Barcelona perspective.
Guys, he did play for 20 years in Kalmar, one team, and he was well hated as a player by other teams.
That's it.
Yeah.
So that's a guy you want to
That's a teammate.
That's a guy I'm not on my team. Any player that like hates playing against players. That's a guy you want to
too many people like you.
Well, he was like that because he was chirping, he was tackling, and he was good.
Let's bring that back, dude. It's not like we haven't had that. All these guys are gritty and they all fight hard. Like all the guys in the crew, they're all fucking battlers, dude. They've all bought into the crew system. They've all they don't take a play off. If anything, it's just sometimes the system forces them to take a play off.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's forward. And then it's boom, boom, boom. Yeah, it's like one, two, three pass, counter goal.
Two more questions. There's really three. I was going to talk about young players. But I want to get to these two before we wrap. And one is which players do you like on this team? For instance, you both mentioned Wissam Abouali. What do you think of him in the system? He has designs on a golden boot. Is that possible? I don't know. Your thoughts on Abouali?
Yeah, I think he's really good. I think he's got the size. I mean, I think obviously he'll be like anyone that's newer to the league, work in progress. Hopefully, we haven't seen his best yet.
We talked about it. He took 6 months to get him. It took him 6 months really to figure out. This is one of the top players in the world for me, and one of the top minds in the world. It took him 6 months to figure out MLS. So this league is a different league.
With West, it is that figuring out the center backs and knowing your opponent a bit and how tough they can be, how athletic they can be, and how to beat that, get around it. Because we've seen he knows. Hopefully, that was a blip.
He knows how to
score goals, you know, and I think he's got a guy with him who I personally love, obviously Diego Rossi, who embodies like work rate and finishing, and he's pretty complete in regards to that. He's not afraid to get all the way back and help make a tackle. He's not afraid to then get all the way forward to try and finish one. He embodies the Wilfred system. And
he's fucking good.
And he's really good. He's really good.
It's amazing.
He's a gritty little fucker as well.
Dude, he reminds me a little bit of Eddie Gavin. Remember when every guy he doesn't look fast like off the ball. When he gets the ball, it was like you couldn't catch it. Rossi's the same way. It's almost like when the ball's at his feet, he's flying by people like it's really easy for him. That's a different thing. Different.
What'd you call it? Goat cheese, Gavin?
Gold shoes.
Oh,
Gold shoes,
He had to wear gold shoes one match because they didn't have any other boots for him. And we gold shoes. Gavin deserved that title too.
He didn't want to wear. He wanted to black boot. He wanted to shoot as under the radar as he can and wear gold shoes. I think he went off. I don't think he never went off. He was always that was another guy who was just a sleeper, dude.
Did he otherwise like wear copas or something like that?
He was a Nike guy. He wore black look, like calm shoes, and he had these gold
The opposite of Ronaldo. He wanted to be the opposite of Cristiano Ronaldo. Not like flashy and playing. He wanted nothing but
another one for me, by the way, is the new captain, Sean. I mean, for me, he's quietly a guy that every team in the league should want. He can play multiple positions. He's a good guy. He's good at all positions. He's got sneaky pace.
He's got some fire.
He's got some fire. He embodies what I believe is a crew thing. He's a great guy. We did the washing machine thing with him last year. And kit reveal and stuff. And he's unreal. He's on the field.
You got to be an animal, dude.
Like he was a guy. I remember the old recruitment guy I talked to, Neil.
Neil McKenna.
Yeah. So I have a lot of respect for. I think he's really good. I think he's best in the league.
Yeah.
He said, Sean, because I said I love Sean. He's one that the club shouldn't let go.
Yeah.
Like he's one that you can pay him enough to stay without having to pay him crazy. And you should keep him because he can do so many things for the club.
My sense is that is the plan. And Stewatsky kind of talks about that as well.
Yeah.
They look at him as like, here's our homegrown guy who represents the crew, and now he's the captain. It's like I think there's a lot of that. And the big question, can Daniel Gazdag be unlocked?
I hope so.
Me too. Yeah. I mean, he's obviously got talent. We've seen it in Philly and seen it in spurts with the crew. It's
all a confidence thing, guys.
I don't know, man. It's just that last little thing. It's like for whatever reason, he's hesitant on the last little pass, the last little shot, whatever that he was really good at before. I think it's. more in his head because he's a freaking outstanding player. The guy's got great touch, takes people on, he sees the game, he knows the game, but his final ball has just been off. And, you know, I don't know how to explain that, or, you know, it could be something in his head a little bit, but I think he's still a player that they need.
Yeah, going back in history, I would say it wasn't the right guy to bring in at the time. It wasn't like a, hey, we have to get someone in because Crucho's gone. We just need to fill a hole now. That's history. It is what it is. I want to see him do really well. I don't know if he's necessarily the exact right guy for the system, but I think he can play in systems. Just finding that spot for him that works for him and he feels good in the system because, like Duke said, he's a great player. He's proved it, you know. From everything I've heard, he's a great guy as well. He's a really good guy. Yeah, the guy.
It's not too many of those guys. A lot of crew guys are like that. Man. To be honest, good dudes, you know. So we were kind of the opposite. We were dickheads.
We're rooting for him. Dukes and I are rooting for him. I think the team. It'd be great for the club and the team if he can.
Yeah.
Do. I mean, it's a few goals, a bit of confidence, and you know when you're playing next to Wissam and Diego, you're going to get opportunities.
Diego is going to create so much for everyone, man. He's creating for him, but he just has that last little puzzle hasn't been there. But dude, you got to see on your team.
Daniel's school this weekend. He might not start, but if he comes in, let's get him on the score sheet.
Yes, Diego will get him on.
Let's will him on the score sheet, brother.
Whatever Diego does, I'm happy with, dude. It's almost like
all right, Greg Berhalter's coming in with the Chicago Fire.
Oh, he's going to be ready.
You got any predictions, guys? Or are you going to, when you look in your crystal ball?
Well, for me, this is going to be a great one because you know Greg's coming with tactics. You know Greg's coming with exactly how he wants to play and his system. And that system was kind of like the system that was before, you know. So and you know he's going to want to come back in here and all the guys will be ready to play. So I'm super excited about this game. It's going to be fun to see how the crew respond because the opening match and all the Nordics there, we're all going to be
12th man is big.
We're all going to be raging. Everyone's going to be at the top of the game, both drinking and fun, chants and singing. And so you're going to have a team behind you, but I think this Chicago team that got better throughout the end of the year. It's great, kind of, you know, and he has now a chance where he got a couple of his guys in.
Who's this
3-1 crew?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. 3-1 crew.
That's what I'm going with.
What are you doing?
Come on. 12 men, brother.
Everyone knows my score. 3-1 every game.
What are you doing for Crewsmas Eve and for Crewsmas?
I got a baby shower to go to.
No one did. Some of you not
You bring the t-shirts to the shower, Frank.
Yeah. No, dude, I'm raging. I don't know. I don't. On Christmas Eve, I don't really remember too many of them. So that's where I want to be. That's where I'm going. That's my head. Yeah. So when I remember Christmas Eve the night before, and I wake up and it's a crew game, I'm like, all right, what just happened? All right, let's go. We're ready. Let's see these again.
That's awesome. You're gonna love this guy, right? You can't not love him. How does anyone not love him?
It's not fake though. I'm not lying.
I know.
Yeah, that's
he feels disrespected.
You might see me passed out in the crew car like I had a couple of times. Crew car. I used to park at 4th Street and just sleep in the crew car at 4th Street on Christmas Eve. And I wake up in the morning at 4th Street Bar to birds chirping and just go inside and beers. Start all over again.
Oh, Dukes.
There's only one Frank. Anything you guys want to add before we sign on?
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate Jimmy V's. This is awesome, man.
Jimmy V's, bro. Thanks for getting this back together, bro. Because we're like a mile away from each other, but he has all these kids. I have all these kids. It's nuts. So thanks for bringing us back together.
I hope to do it again. Because this was a lot of fun. I was looking forward to the conversation. It's awesome per usual with either of you guys, but both with you together. It's just treble.
Yeah, we love
Was
it.
that eloquent, Frankie?
Yeah,
It's
a French word.
Hey, much love to your fans too.
Let's go. Let's fucking rock and roll as we always do. We know what we're gonna do.
Well, that's been the Crucible with Duncan, Oughton, Frankie, Hejduk, and me, Mike Arace. Frankie, how's your dad doing? All right?
Yeah, he's still going, dude. He's still he's still he knows everything about college basketball. He knows.
I'm gonna see Dave Barker tonight.
Yeah,
We're gonna watch a game tonight.
which game you watching? Is Ohio State
I
on?
think Ohio State's on. Or something.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
That's doing good, dude. He'll just give his opinion on every game. I told you he doesn't watch the pros. He only watches college. He's like, college pros.
But no, his storehouse of knowledge is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, of college basketball. Anyway, that's Frankie. I'm Mike Arace from The Disrespected, thedisrespected.com, The Crucible, Cannonballs, like, share, follow, rate, review, etc. It helps me out a lot. Go to thedisrespected.com to see all of my written work and some links to see the other stuff too. Support local, independent, disrespected media.
Yeah, guys, please support him, dude. I've known him now for what, 23 years almost.
Too long.
23 years too long. This guy knows soccer. He knows. He's learned soccer. He knows all about it. He loves the sport. He loves hockey. And I consider him a true friend. And many reporters, you don't like to say that as an ex-player, but this guy is a true friend of mine. He wrote honest articles his whole life. I would say 95% of them I agreed with. The ones that I did was probably was talking shit about me, but that was.
I agreed with those ones.
Duncan agrees with them, but those were few and far between. Just kidding, but no, listen to this guy, man. He knows his stuff. And
Support him like he supported us. So, guys, please.
I'll just say, sometimes I slide tackled you, most of the time.
Yeah.
And sometimes you tackled me.
We were talking.
Luckily, I never got rugby.
Yeah. You don't want Duncan rugby, dude. You don't want this guy's head on your head, dude. That is the hardest I've ever seen in my life, dude.